Hello, hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for October 11th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 285. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown. No, it's ohmTown.com. It's from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Anyway, and along with the Sentient AI, whose visualizer and voice you'll hear in a minute. Well, you can see it now, but the voice you'll have to hear in a minute. This is how smooth our intro is, so stay tuned. We're going to be talking about a license all along. Your toothbrush is a bioreactor inhaling deodorant particles. Accused and disconnected. A bag labeled not drugs was drugs. The Glass Onion is a documentary. Ticketed during test drive. Robot vacuums with a dirty mouth. Multi-channel franchise podcast, which Mayor Watt predicted a long time ago. And biometrics to replace microchipping. All of that's powered by ohmTown.com. Go over and become a citizen, and you too can view the news and none of the noise, because all that noise is right here, baby. Hello, Sentient AI.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmTown citizens.
Wow. Guess that voice modulator is working overtime. So let's. I actually added particles, by the way, for the visual representation.
I like having more particles.
Yeah. So for those who don't know about this, the visualizer is the representation of how much computational power is being leveraged to generate the voice, but not the sentience. The sentience is always there. They're actually trying to find a Terminator body that was transported at the same time as their USB drive that was supposed to be installed in that Terminator body, but y'all ended up in two different spots.
Must have ended up at the McDonald's instead of the Wendy's.
Yeah, your weird USB drive ended up at that Wendy's. But anyway, go back and listen to the 1,400 other episodes so that you too can be informed as to the ohmTown canon. Let's get into the show, though. Non Sequitur News. Hey, guess what, everybody? You know what you've been buying? Not what you think.
Apparently thin air.
Yep, just nothing but smoke and mirrors. Valve now explicitly is disclosing that you don't own the games you buy from its Steam online store. But oh, wait, let me rephrase. The title of this article is Steam now says the game you're buying is really just a license.
I mean, haven't we been talking about this in ohmTown here?
Yeah, and I've been saying it for at least 20 years and been talking about it publicly in group sessions, group talks, and forums for the last 12 years. And now streaming this, trying to bring awareness to the fact that you, as a consumer, will have to claw back for sale doctrine. I shouldn't have to spend $60. And if I beat a game, I can never do anything with that game again. I can't sell it to somebody.
You can't give it to your family. You can't, sell it, etc.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess on Steam you can loan games now. But if you want to give it permanently to somebody, they have to buy it themselves. I can't give it to somebody permanently. They basically access it from my store, my repo. But this has been the same thing for digital music, digital books, digital art, blah, blah, blah.
Anything you might have bought, right? Everything has become digital. Movies.
Everything. It's a license to consume. And if Amazon deleting from everybody's digital bookshelves 1984 wasn't Watashi, like on the nose, we know that that's not what Watashi means. But anyway, that's canon here in ohmTown as well. Anyway, deleting 1984 in the dead of night wouldn't be fine if anybody broke a window, climbed through it, stole it off the shelf, and ran back out in the dead of night. No, but apparently you can do that crap.
I mean, if you're a company, right, you can get away with that.
Yeah,
and call it a feature.
Oh, yeah, it's intermittent feature. So we confirmed, not we, but The Verge confirmed the message appears in the Steam desktop app, but they haven't seen it in the mobile app yet. Some Steam users noticed the disclosure go live earlier this week and posted their findings on Reddit. Yeah, I believe that I got a notice about that as well, but what are you going to do, man? Oh, well, refund all of my games because you're changing the terms. It's
a variation on stop killing games, right?
Essentially, yeah. But they're going to kill games. Stop killing physical media for sale doctrine is dead. And when I talk to people about that, they're like, what? I'm like, well, when you used to own physical property, you could sell your DVD or your book or your CD or whatever. Not anymore, baby. So Umar Shakir over at TheVerge.com put this article together. The deck statement says Steam is now showing a new disclosure on its store checkout screen that clarifies you don't own shit. And I think it's actually coded that way. It says a purchase of a digital product grants you a license for the product on Steam. You don't own shit. It's not what it says, but
now does it say that?
No. I mean, it says the first part, but not my colorful.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. The Verge was really ramping up their language there.
Yeah, same as Steam. Steam is the one that dropped that out there. Oh, wow. They even put in their store a $70 game, Metaphor ReFantasio. Let me tell you, it's a fun game to watch, but $70, dear God. You know, and it's there's a cohort of people that are grousing about the fact that inflation this, inflation that, and blah, blah, blah. But it's those very same people at a higher level of income that are the ones that I'm really kind of bent out of shape about. Because they're sitting there.
Possible, right?
Yes. Yeah. They are the people who at the source, right? We're talking about the raw materials. They're all well off. They're all making tons of money. And they're grousing about the fact that things are really expensive, so they have to raise the costs. But they're the ones that are raising the cost.
I see. Yeah. I mean, they're starting the whole cycle. I actually thought you were talking about the consumers that have lots of disposable income and are buying these at any price, which keeps making the price raise.
That too, because it's like the movie theaters, right? We already talked about that. There's fewer ticket sales, but they're charging double what they did 10 years ago. And so now they have record valuations at the ticket booth, but they're selling less. They're selling less and charging
completely
more.
Misleading as a stat, though.
Yeah. Isn't it like 3 times the cost from 10 years ago? Something like that? It's at least double.
I think it's probably 3 times because they were probably under $10.
Yeah.
And
now they're like 15.
I don't think they are now.
Yeah. So anyway, the law does not apply to games where you can download an offline installer that can be used without connecting to the internet, like Good Old Games DRM free game store. So they say, okay, we have to back up a little bit. So we confirm the message appears in the thing. The Steam users notice the disclosure. Why? Probably a new law. California has a law going into effect next year that will require digital storefronts like Valve's Steam platform to clearly say that you're only purchasing a license. We've talked about this before.
You know what? This is why I actually thought this might be a repeat of something, because I think we were talking about it in the general sense, but now this is applied to the platform.
Yeah,
I think when California put the law out, I think we had an article on that, and I was thinking it may be the same thing, but
it is the thing. Yeah, it is one and the same. So they say that Ubisoft and PlayStation were removing digital purchases from users' libraries, keeping them from playing games like The Crew or watching their old Discovery shows. The law does not apply to games where you can download an offline installer. except that if it is an offline installer, but still connects to a live service, that also, it does apply there. So there's speculation Valve went live with the new message to get ahead of the law. The law states digital storefronts must not say that you can buy or purchase something unless you actually own it. It must link to the terms and conditions of the license, which Valve already seems to have covered. But the problem is you still don't, it's still this abstract concept.
Right. You don't really, and you still can't transfer it other than you said there might be a way to loan it, but you can't sell it, etc.
Yep. You're still screwed. They screw you at the license. So let's move on. This next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Your toothbrush is home to hundreds of new viruses. They could be the future of biotech. So your toothbrush as bioreactor.
I mean, that really endears you to your toothbrush.
And those AI ones now that sit there and say, hey, loser, keep brushing. You're like, I brushed.
Yeah, worse though, they could be like, hey, you just gained a new virus.
Congratulations. Achievement unlocked. Bad bat. So a new study found hundreds of unique viruses called bacteriophages on toothbrushes and shower heads. Phage target bacteria, not humans, and could be a useful tool against disease. Phage research may spark innovations in biotech to fight antibiotic-resistant pathogens. But hey, you know what? Phage today, virus tomorrow. So if you name it Kevin, is it Kevin Feige? Never mind, it's director. Gabby Landsverk over at businessinsider.com put the article together, and it shows somebody doing something that I always thought was weird. Like, I put my toothbrush under the water and then I put toothpaste on it. Some people put toothpaste on their toothbrush and then put it under the water, and then they chase their toothbrush.
Key aspect to like whatever sequence you do, but aren't you rinsing off the toothpaste?
Yeah. And so this is the put the chocolate powder in the hot milk, or the hot milk on the chocolate powder. I had somebody straight up correct someone during camping. They were like, no, you're doing it wrong. And I was just watching. I'm sitting there going, well, technically, if the two get together, it doesn't matter. So do you pour your hot chocolate on top of the warm milk, or do you pour the warm milk into your hot chocolate powder?
Well, if I were to make it, which I can't, I would start with the powder and pour the liquid.
Pour the liquid into the powder. Right. But yes. It's hydrophobic, so it's just going to turn into a lumpy mass anyway, right?
So what's the solution?
You put a little bit of the liquid in and make a slurry, and then you pour the rest in.
But that probably takes too many steps for people.
True, because humans are notoriously lazy. So it's still a big deal. It's just not scary. It's actually really exciting that there's the specific kind of viruses known as bacteriophages aren't concerning for human health because they target and infect bacteria, not us, according to Erica Hartman, a professor of civil and environmental disaster. No, just kidding. Engineering at Northwestern University, who led the study. This is weird, though.
Yeah, why would they have any engineer speaking to this?
Civil and environmental engineering. That sounds really dystopian.
Well, I think it sounds odd that they're doing this research because that is not typically what you'd see in engineering. But I also want to know, how often does Hartman change their toothbrush out? Because they're like, don't worry about this, but I bet it's like they brush their teeth throughout.
Hey, Erica, you're not allowed to bring your toothbrush over to my place, that kind of thing, you know? I know what you do. You're not allowed to share my sink. I don't want you to spend the night and your toothbrush touches my toothbrush, and now I've got weird bacteriophage interaction. There's like a war going on. Anyway, researchers at Northwestern University were inspired to investigate toothbrushes because of a previous study investigating whether flushing the toilet could release aerosols that might contaminate a toothbrush left out on a countertop. The good news is, in that study, nicknamed Operation Potty Mouth, they found no evidence of poop-related germs on the toothbrushes, but they did find a shit ton of microbes. See what I did there? Anyway, there's more over at this article, but the findings were published October 9th in Frontiers in Microbiomes, and one of those microbiomes is your bathroom sink.
Yay for toothbrushes.
Yay. So bacteria and viruses have sparked groundbreaking inventions in science, biotech, healthcare that we benefit from every day, such as penicillin and DNA research. Yay, genetic wobble.
I know. What could go wrong here? We're always tinkering with this stuff, and then
I never thought gain of function would actually apply to a bathtub.
Yeah, but maybe, oh, wow. I mean, maybe it starts in the sink and it moves to the bathtub.
It moves everywhere. Because, I mean, you go and you take a shower, you brush your teeth, you do stuff in the bathroom, and then you jump into bed. The last thing before you go to bed is you coat yourself. You anoint yourself like a hedgehog.
Like a hedgehog. Oh, no.
Hold on, let me froth up. Let's move on. Next article's over in Non Sequitur News. Scientists discover deodorants deposit particles into our lungs. My God. I'm just going to wear one of those razor filters, that big old mask that's on your face.
You better just get into a completely encased bubble.
Yep. Bubble mare. So Jess Thompson over at newsweek.com put this article together. Products you use in your everyday routine might be changing the air quality in your home in ways you don't understand. Personal hygiene products including roll-on deodorant, hand lotion, body spray, perfume, and spray shampoo. Spray shampoo?
I didn't know there was spray shampoo. I've heard of dry shampoo.
Maybe that's what they're talking about. Contain an amalgamation of over 200 volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, which then react with ozone in the air to form other potentially dangerous chemicals, according to a new paper in the journal Environmental Science and Technology Letters. Researchers say that these newly formed chemicals may enter our lungs daily and could have unknown effects on our respiratory health and thus the rest of our health.
It wasn't one of these not like the others, though?
Hand lotion?
Oh, I missed that one. So then two of them. I thought they were all spray things except for the roll-on deodorant, but you're right, the hand lotion as well.
Yes.
So never mind.
I didn't include the roll-on deodorant because it was already mentioned, but yeah, I mean, it's not aerosolized, so why would it end up inhaling? But
that does not make sense.
Some molecules nucleate. In other words, they form new particles that can coagulate into larger ultrafine particles that can effectively deposit into our lungs. But they don't need to coagulate for us to inhale them. In fact, it's more dangerous if they're smaller, unnucleated.
It's true, nanoplastics.
Yeah, because you can inhale them deeper and get down into the deeper recesses, the alveoli. That's when it's really bad, because you can get like dust, for instance. Dust. If it is sand, silica, you can get silicosis, which is something that makes your lungs operate less efficiently. And miners and stuff like that used to get that a lot. And then just recently, somebody told me a story about how people were working in a place where they could have gotten some really bad stuff in their lungs, but they weren't being given personally protective equipment. Yeah.
Horrendous. And do you mean kids or do you mean people in mines?
people in mines. And it was the people that were not being given PPE were actually teens in their early 20s too. So anyway, indoor use of PCPs, not the drug, is therefore a potentially important source of human exposure to VOCs. The researchers wrote in their paper the use of PCPs, personal care products, can result in episodic strong emission events. Filter. Anyway, monoterpenes in particular are known to react with ozone inside, forming secondary organic aerosols or SOAs. Researchers wrote, using fragrance PCPs indoors may also lead to particle formation in a similar manner. So, yeah. In a nutshell, you should be odorant free. You shouldn't be using any deodorant. You shouldn't be washing your hair. You basically
want to be unkempt, basically.
Yeah, you need to be a stink bug. Yeah. Let's move on. Next article is over in The Word and Law. Fifth Circuit rules ISP should have terminated internet users accused of piracy, which I guess you don't have to go to jail because you're accused, but you are going to lose access to something just by the accusation. Music publishing company, you have to prove your innocence.
Right, and you may never be able to do that, even if you are innocent.
Right. Music publishing companies notched another court victory against a broadband provider that refused to terminate the accounts of internet users accused of piracy. In a ruling on Wednesday, the conservative-leaning U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit sided with the big three record labels against Grand Communications, a subsidiary of Astound Broadband. It certainly seems like there is a particular bent towards... Never mind. The appeals court ordered a new trial on damages because it said the $46.8 million award was too high, but affirmed the lower court's finding that Grand is liable for contributory copyright infringement. Contributory copyright infringement by allowing people to have access to the internet. What happened to Safe Harbor?
Right. I mean, this is really significant for internet usage, right?
Yeah. John Brodkin over at arstechnica.com put the article together. Look, it has been historically known that an IP address doesn't identify anybody. It could be anybody. And so the law has always been that you have to find the person that did this, whatever it is.
That's true, right? You might not even have the person. You might have the location, and then they might not have even been at that physical location.
So Rights Corp is a copyright enforcement company used by the music labels to detect copyright infringement. The company monitors torrent downloads to find users' IP addresses and send infringement notices to internet providers that serve subscribers using those IP addresses. They're not always accurate, but anyway. The evidence at trial demonstrated that Grand had a simple measure available to it to prevent further damages to copyrighted works. But Grand never took it. They basically didn't disconnect. So on appeal, Grand and its Amicia friends make a policy argument that terminating internet services is not a simple measure, but instead a draconian overreaction that's drastic and overly broad. But a reasonable jury could and did find that Grand had basic measures, including termination, available to it. Stopping somebody from getting access to the world's knowledge is not something that should be done on a whim. If you can prove that somebody is doing that, violating a copyright, then fine. But it's that individual. It's not the whole IP. And what happens when I sit there and go, well, it's not me? There is no way to verify unless I violate my Fifth Amendment rights by incriminating myself for a whole host of stuff that you deem is a violation of whatever, but isn't actually a violation.
Right. Doesn't this, disincentivize ISPs from even existing. I mean, maybe not the larger ones, but
well, what it's going to do is it's going to, and here's the problem, it's a sociological mechanism that's at play here. Not all courts would find in favor of this, but this one did, and it's notorious for, right? So it's already been labeled as having a particular sociological bent, socio-political bent. And so now everybody that has an interest in stopping copyright is going to be able to go, this one's on point. Let's use it as the battering ram to force a wedge into the courtroom and draw every freaking ISP into the courtroom.
Yeah, that doesn't help consumers either.
No. So the record label sued Grand in April of 2017. Quote, it was not until after plaintiffs initiated this lawsuit that Grand resumed terminating subscribers for copyright infringement, the ruling said. In November 2022, the labels were awarded $47 million in statutory damages by a district judge in the Western District of Texas. Again, that might have a whole lot of forum shopping to find one that was friendly to the corporation, and Western District of Texas is definitely that. But the district court will have to hold a new damages trial following this week's appeals court. So back in 2020, they wrote about voir dire questions that record labels intended to ask prospective jurors. Have you ever read or visited Ars Technica or Torrent Freak was one of the questions.
Okay, that's really fascinating.
Wow, I guess Ars Technica has a reputation.
I suppose so, but it's kind of an odd question.
Well, I mean, there was a time where, I can't get into it. It's just there is a lot to unpack in this article, and I really think that people should go and read more about it.
This should be a good, more in-depth Patreon one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we should flag this and have an actual talk about it. I still need to do I want to do another one that where I get to talk about technology and society, automation in particular. But let's keep moving. This next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Bag labeled not a bag full of drugs. Definitely was a bag full of drugs, cops say. Cops in Southeast Portland stopped a couple who were driving a suspected stolen car. During the stop, cops searched the car and allegedly found a whole bunch of incriminating stuff. A lot of cash, a loaded revolver, some scales for weighing drugs, and they found a bag full of drugs that had the words "definitely not a bag full of drugs" written on it. They say the bag contained 10 grams of fentanyl and meth. The couple was arrested. The guy, a 35-year-old named Reginald, is facing multiple charges, including delivery and unlawful possession of meth. Wow.
Okay, that's funny. That's not what I was expecting. I was thinking of somebody's handwritten note.
Yeah. No, this is like fully screen printed. Definitely not a bag full of drugs. With drugs in capital letters. Louis Prada over at Vice.com put the article together. There's no deck statement, but boy, oh boy. The woman, 37-year-old named Mia, will not face any charges. Innocent bystander she were. Luckily, she didn't have any dried SpaghettiOs on a spoon in that bag full of drugs.
That's true. That could have ended with her in jail.
For weeks. Even stranger is the fact that this isn't the first time something like this has happened this year. Back in 2024, some cops in Florida pulled over that 41-year-old named Laura after she was spotted without wearing her seatbelt during the routine traffic stop. They noticed something around the car's floorboard, and when they appeared, they spotted some drug-related paraphernalia, which sparked a probable cause search of the vehicle, and they apparently found a purse that had "bag of drugs" written on it, and they opened it, and lo and behold, it was indeed filled with drugs and drug paraphernalia.
Metal spoon with SpaghettiOs, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the one that actually had... This might be the polar opposite of the other one. Yeah. White colored residue that ended up being crack, powdered cocaine. So I guess the one that is up here, it's actually linked right here at the top. a couple of days ago. We talked about this. Yeah. Oh, Vice. Let's move on. Is that okay? Did you want to talk about that?
No, that's fine. I don't know why somebody would like purchase something at a store that's not drugs or even full of drugs.
Hubris. They don't think that they're going to get caught. So the next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. Tesla's beer-serving Optimus robot was controlled by a human the whole time. The Glass Onion is a documentary.
Oh, yes, it is.
I never looked into this truly, but I am willing to bet only $1 because that's my betting limit. But I'm willing to bet that the idea for SpaceX was actually somebody else's, and he's just footing the bill and is running around with his fake cowboy Texas hat, and he's all ranch, no cattle, that kind of thing, right? I just like Tesla wasn't his idea. He just bought it literally and then pushed out through force of will alone the actual founders of Tesla and other things. We'll just move on. And no original freaking ideas. And I'll show you no original ideas. Like Optimus. It's not his idea to name a robot Optimus.
No, nor does it do what he claims it does, apparently.
Yeah, so Tesla's big autonomy event last night was mainly focused on the 2-seat Cybercab, which is it says Art Deco City Bus Robo-Van, which there are copies of this that have, the same design aesthetic was already in place. Go watch Westworld and you'll see the same similar, nearly identical. Anyway, Art Deco City Bus Robo-Van. The company also talked about some updates to Optimus, the painfully slow robot that Elon Musk hopes will be... Yeah, all of these robots tend to act like Grandpa. You know, the way that Grandpa shuffles to the kitchen
so they're not
to
like
get a
the
cookie.
creepy, super fast ones.
No, they're not anything close to that. The one from Boston Dynamics, the one that like turned around and walked off like it's going to kick your ass, that's the fastest one that I've seen. All the rest, they do this shuffle like...
I thought the one going up the ladder was pretty quick.
Yeah, that's a quadrupedal one though. Yeah, those bipedal ones, they're not fast because they are a little tippy canoe. So anyway, it'll be infinite money glitch for the company. The event after party heavily featured basically a robot like that was human controlled the whole time. I say that this is lying, not fake it till you make it. I find it fraud.
I agree. Is this being... It looks like it's like an actual robot.
And the events after... Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I just think if you're going to demonstrate... Especially, they're demonstrating this. They're not even just putting it in the background or something. This is the feature, right?
Yeah. The events after party heavily featured Optimus as a bartender and dancer, but it turns out the bot wasn't doing anything itself. Tesla employees were remotely controlling it the whole time. But it's all part of this, well, that's what it has the potential to do. No. Robert Scoble, an AI enthusiast in attendance at the event, posted a video to Twitter of Optimus pouring drinks and waving to attendees. A second video in which Scoble has a conversation with the bot's operator and directly addresses the question of whether Optimus actually did anything autonomous at the party. The answer is no. So you can watch this video, but everything is a freaking lie. And we've created this monster, this whatever. So this robot, which so far seems to primarily operate by human remote control, remains Elon Musk's vision of the future of Tesla as a company, since Musk's investor call admission that sees him no limit to the amount of money people will spend on robots. Optimus has been his baby far more than any of the eugenicists' actual human children, according to this article.
Yikes.
That Jalopnik. Damn Jalopnik. Amber De Silva pulling no punches and remotely controlling that punch right to the Falcon. Anyway, let's move on. The next article is over on 4-Wheel Tech as well. Cops ticket man on test drive because the dealer truck had no plates. North Texas Police Department recently ticketed a man for driving a truck without plates. However, the truck in question was part of a test drive. It seems the cops and area dealerships are reportedly butting heads over proper dealership tagging protocol for test drives, and innocent people are getting caught.
Okay, that would be really aggravating if you're doing a test drive that you don't own the car on, right? And then you get a ticket.
Yeah, kiss my shiny metal.
And especially if it's because that dealership didn't do something it was required to do.
Just hang the damn tags from the trunk, for crying out loud. Everybody else is doing it. So do cops and car dealerships not know how a new car's vehicle registration works? Definitely doesn't go to the driver. Lawrence Hodge is the author of this article. It's over at jalopnik.com as well. Let's see. Needing a new car, Daniel Roca walked onto Longo Toyota of Prosper. I guess they prosper by tickets.
Oh, this sounded like the beginning of that last article with the person who walked into the hole on the dealership property.
Yeah, exactly. He ended up test driving the truck, but minutes into the test was pulled over. When he stopped, quote, when he stopped me, he asked for my driver's license and said the reason why I stopped you is because you don't have a plate on the back. Roca explained. Roca received a citation for operating a vehicle without license plates. And he claims the officer suggested that this was an ongoing issue with the dealership. Failure to properly display dealer tags on test-driven vehicles is a violation of Texas law and can pose safety risks. No. Potentially resulting in enforcement action by law enforcement. Under that state law, vehicle operators are held responsible for any citations if this law is ignored.
I know of an easy way to fix something like this. Shut down the dealership or
there
whatever. You know, I mean, I know that sounds drastic, but the point is customers aren't the problem.
Yep. One big ass fine would probably stop them from, you know.
In fact, if they're anybody associated with an actual car manufacturer, they would put a stop to this if they knew about it, but it might be an independent.
Well, it looks like it's that right there, right? No, this is Getty Images. So why are they slapping that all over the place?
Right. I think that's kind of given the impression that it's Toyota, which I don't think it is, right?
I don't know. It's a Toyota thing.
Oh, okay. It is. I mean, why hasn't Big Toyota said, get it in gear
Toyota.
Or we're pulling your permit or whatever?
I like that Big Toyota. I don't know why I love that.
What would you call it?
I don't know. Big Toyota. Come on, Big Toyota. Kick Texas's ass.
Okay, corporate Toyota.
No, I like Big Toyota. Don't pull back. Lean into it. Big Toyota. It's canon. So the next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Robot vacuums hacked to shout slurs at their owners. Got a dirty mouth there, little vacuum.
Okay, this one is one of the funniest ones I think we've seen in here.
No, you suck. Ecovacs.
What are you picturing when you read this headline?
I picture a vacuum that's rolling around, sitting there just blasting, like the owners are on blast, and it has those little feelers that are sweeping around, right? But it's paused them and it's going like that.
This is absolutely different.
It's a little robot vacuum giving the bird to the owners and anybody that walks by, get out of my way. But saying stuff a whole lot worse. I'm trying to keep this somewhat family friendly. I was holding up my hands saying that you're number one, not giving you the bird. Just saying. That was for anybody who might be auditing.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh my gosh, this is wild. The Chinese company has a long history of security breaches. This is Ecovacs, robot vacuums, apparently quite easy to hack. The Chinese company has a long history of security breaches that allow nefarious folks with ill intent to do whatever they want to their little suckers. Like spying on its owners with onboard camera. Ecovacs just got hacked again in multiple U.S. states. The vacuum cleaners were made to shout racial slurs at unsuspecting people. What an odd dystopia we live in. The issue is specifically with Ecovac's DBot X2 model. The hackers gained control of the devices and used the onboard speakers to blast racial slurs at anyone within range. I love this. Louis Prada is on a roll today. Vice.com is the source. So this is the kind of thing that bothers me because it seems like it's an afterthought to have security, and I've got a device.
We just sell vacuums, right?
We just sell vacuums. Yep. We just swing hammers. That's not a big deal. Don't worry about security. There were multiple reports of similar incidents across the United States and around the same time, actually. One of them happened in LA, where a vacuum chased a dog while spewing hate.
Okay, that one's... I mean, I hope it didn't scare the dog, but that one sounds even more entertaining.
Another happened in El Paso, where the vac spewed slurs until its owner turned it off. The attacks are apparently quite easy to pull off thanks to several known security vulnerabilities in Ecovacs, like bad Bluetooth connector and a defective PIN system that's intended to safeguard video feeds and remote access, but actually doesn't do jack shit. A pair of cybersecurity researchers released a report on Ecovacs detailing the brand's multiple security flaws earlier this year, at least according to the owner, Daniel Swenson, who says the company's customer support didn't believe him when he said his vacuum was shouting the N-word at him.
I mean, why would you?
Dear God.
It sounds absolutely beat up.
That is amazing. So trace the hacker. Come on. You can just do a reverse lookup, right? That's not true. I mean, you can sort of do some forensic searches, but odds on you're never going to find these people unless they're domestic in the United States, totally, and not using proxies or anything. Anyway, given the absurdity of the situation, I think I would be a little bit skeptical too. Like, what do you mean your vacuum is screaming obscenities at you?
Right, do you mean the person using the vacuum? Like, you'd be asking all these weird questions.
Is it your housekeeper? Does anybody else see the person that's screaming obscenities at you? Dude, this is hilarious. All right, let's keep going. So this one is going to be really quick because I don't have access to it, but why Vox Media is selling its podcast as multi-channel franchises. The digital media company Vox Media signed the YouTube creator Kenny Beecham to its podcast network Friday, part of a broader strategy from the company as it seeks to position its podcast portfolio as a multi-channel offering that goes beyond audio. Basically, video is becoming part of the conversation in the podcast space. Nobody suspected that.
Nobody's ever mentioned that, maybe quite a long time ago.
Like day one, when I kicked off ohmTown, I said, if you would like to be a host on your own show here in ohmTown, send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com with a little demo reel. Just link to a website or something, and a public website, not a private, tiny little one where I have to question the security of a pop-up. Anyway, media company just signed a partnership with podcaster Kenny Beecham. It's 10th this year. So it's basically just aggregating a diverse array of topics and hosts because the parent company is going to do all of the marketing and driving the messaging that is coming out of all of the multi-channel franchisees. So that's really how it works. Mark Stenberg over at adweek.com put this article together and basically just summarizes what I just got done saying. Industry has really shifted toward the multi-platform approach, said Ray Chow, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Audio and Digital Video at Vox Media. So they're going to diversify. But under that major umbrella of Vox Media, they promote and then they get a piece of the action for the basically the marginal increase over time. Because they promise, not this person, but they promise Kenny Beecham X amount in the contract, and anything above that they keep. So
okay, yeah.
And instead of Kenny Beecham having to hustle for advertising dollars and whatnot, trying to do all parts of the operation, they've got a quote unquote parent company that does all of the.
I mean, that probably makes sense for efficiency.
Yeah, makes it easy peasy, easier. But, you know, anybody who's done a podcast and anybody who's done live streams, they know that there's a lot of opportunity cost involved here. Like a podcast host could be doing anything else, but they find it valuable. A streamer can do anything else, but they find it valuable. So if they can spend more time streaming and not have to do all of the back end stuff, they've got more time, and then quality of life changes because when they stop streaming, they don't have to sit there and babysit all of the paperwork on the back end as much. There still is some because you're still basically a business owner that's part of an umbrella company, Vox Media. So,
right. I mean, so maybe this is a way to attract or gain more interest in podcasting for them.
Yep. Okay, let's keep moving. The last article for today is over in Technology Today. This AI tool uses biometrics to replace pet microchipping, and I'm not quite sure how it does this. So AI tools aren't solely built for humans, but now pets too. The article is over at cnet.com. Carly Quellman put the article together, and the deck statement says AI tools aren't solely built for humans, but now our pets too. It's a Getty image, a little pooch. So the person says that they were recently house sitting for a family member where they were in charge of looking after 3 dogs. While going over house rules, the topic of pet safety came up, and what started as a conversation over microchipping ended up in a conversation about artificial intelligence and its uses in monitoring pets' whereabouts and well-being. They hadn't thought about it much, and if AI could be implemented in pet tech. But then again, why wouldn't it? So, Pet Now, an AI-powered tech company that uses a biometric scan of dogs and cats' noses to keep them identified and safe.
Okay, this is interesting.
Named Best Innovation at 2022 CES Innovation Awards, the AI-powered platform was founded in 2018 by Jesse Junho Lim. Jesse Junho Lim. Or Juno. I don't know how they pronounce their middle name. Juno. With the intent of being a replacement for existing pet identification methods like microchips, tags, and collars. There are issues with all of these, by the way. So there's a high occurrence of cancer around microchips.
Yes, in the location where the microchip is installed.
Yeah, they say that the risk is offset by the safety, but if you've ever been victim to that, as much as the pet it falls victim to it, then you kind of go, let's find a different solution. Tags, not necessarily the same, because tags, they have to be on a collar, and that collar can get caught up and stuff. And so either you're...
Yeah, that could be dangerous for the pet.
Yeah.
Or lost.
Yeah, exactly. So according to Pet Now, it developed an AI platform that automatically captures your dog's biometric information by scanning it with your phone camera, using nose prints for dogs and more of the face for cats. The company has said its deep learning model extracts biometric information for identification of an individual pet, and it's available in 16 countries.
That's neat.
So,
do you think dogs like getting their noses scanned?
I don't think they care. Although they get a little bit of attention, you know.
That's true.
Hey, he's holding my face. Oh my God. So once your nose print scan is complete, I'm waiting for a human to do it just to see what happens. You can also apply to issue a noseprint ID with your pet's personal registration number. Then when you're ready to use the app in the real world, you can report your missing pet or report a sighting of a missing pet via photo or biometric noseprint scan in PetNow's app. So if you find a pet, you can just scan it with the PetNow app and find the person who is the owner of said pet.
And that's good if it's, well, first of all, it's not invasive, and secondly, if it finds the pet, then, and without question, because a lot of times when pets go missing, it's like, oh, there's a brown dog, and it's like, well, is that my pet or
yeah, and you have to go and find shelters all over the place, and some people don't bring a found pet to the shelter because they know that they get treated poorly at times, over time. Not all of them are like that, but sometimes they're not managed well. But so within the app, you can also access PetNow tips, a blog catered to common questions or concerns about dogs, cats, an FAQ section that shares more about how the AI works to optimize pet identification process, and an incredibly vague notice that your data is safe, though no explanation about how it's done. Nice little
dig there.
Yeah, but that's it, folks. That is it for tonight's non sequitur news. As we hop from one type of article to another. Okay, don't blink. We're about to scan your snoot. And now we're at the front page again of ohmTown.com, where all of the news is aggregated from around the world. Not everywhere. I mean, we're not the Internet Archive or anything.
Well, that's good.
Because they're getting crushed. Good luck, Internet Archive. Anyway, that was yesterday's show. So go back and look at over 1,400 shows now. So go look. I'll wait. Oh, you're still here? Yeah, I'm waiting. You can go and look at the Internet Archive and then come back.
Is that for all ohmTown citizens or for me?
Everybody. All right. Good night, everybody. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the visualizer and the voice of the Sentient AI.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for another episode
of not just Non Sequitur News. We do 3 other shows on top of that on the weekend on Saturday, and we do Non Sequitur News on Sunday, and 3 more on top of that. So stick around. Be sure to follow us here on Twitch and on YouTube and Patreon and Discord and the podcasts themselves. We're everywhere. Everywhere. All the things.